Plus, she's hot.
Yes, she is.
I bit my lip off.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I am Brent Caughman, and without any ado, let's crack on with part 2 of Chris Griffin's tragic love life. Next is one of the most intense relationships that we have seen for Chris. Of course, we are talking about Isabella. Chris's relationship with Isabella began after they met at a water park. Isabella liked Chris but didn't want to burden him, as we find out she is a single mother. Wasting no time, Chris still asks her out, making it clear he didn't mind that she had children. The two quickly hit it off, with Chris ignoring Lois's concerns about him stepping into such a serious relationship. Despite his mother's warnings, Chris was determined to make it work. The situation took a dramatic turn when Isabella came to Chris in the middle of the night, revealing she was being deported. Chris, ever loyal, made the bold decision to take care of her children in her absence. For someone like Chris, his age, no parenting experience, and barely being able to look after himself, this would be a comedic disaster.
Chris, what are you doing with Isabella's babies? And why are you holding them that way? You'll hurt them.
Well, actually, no. He handled the responsibility surprisingly well. Still, Lois wasn't convinced this was the right path. Insisting they help reunite Isabella with her children, the family traveled to Mexico to bring them back to her. Upon seeing the harsh conditions of Isabella's village, Lois had a change of heart. Instead of leaving the children there, she insisted they smuggle Isabella back into the US. However, the journey took a terrifying turn when the group was ambushed by a pack of wolves. Chris, showing incredible bravery, put himself between the wolves and Isabella's children, getting himself bit in the process. In the end, Chris realized he wasn't ready for the challenges of parenthood. He and Isabella parted ways. The growth shown in his relationship with Isabella showed how Chris would not be influenced by external people. Unfortunately, this hasn't always been the way. The next few girls had shorter storylines but show how Chris just seems to never catch a break. In season 6, Chris found himself smitten with Anna, the receptionist at the vet's office. Their relationship started off wonderfully, with genuine chemistry between them.
See me again.
Well, I'm sure you can come up with some excuse to see her at the vet.
Is there any more coffee?
However, things took a sharp turn when Peter noticed Chris offering to clean up a drink Anna had spilled. Displeased, Peter began pushing his outdated, misogynistic views onto his son. Naive and eager to please his father, Chris adopted Peter's terrible advice and started treating Anna poorly. Unsurprisingly, Anna had enough of the mistreatment and ended the relationship, leaving Chris to reflect on his misguided actions. In another episode, Chris strikes up an unforeseen partnership with Pam, the daughter of the clam's current owner, Jerome. The episode does not give much time to Chris and Pam, leaving Pam and Chris grappling with Jerome's unease over Pam potentially being manipulated. The episode tends to turn more to the dynamic of Peter and Jerome, leaving a missed opportunity for Chris and Pam. Sometimes the writers even overlook Chris's painful love life. In one of my personal favorite episodes, No Country Club for Old Men, Chris unexpectedly found himself in a whirlwind romance with the wealthy and glamorous Amanda, a member of the prestigious Barrington family.
The Barringtons? How is that possible? That family is the pinnacle of high society. They haven't worked in 8 generations. All the kids have drug...
Their relationship began when Amanda and Chris are seated next to each other on an aeroplane. Intrigued by Chris's genuine and unpolished demeanor, she decides to date him as a break from her usual upper-class suitors. Despite their vastly different worlds, Chris made a sincere effort to fit into her high society lifestyle, enduring awkward dinners and snobby judgments from Amanda's family. However, things took a chaotic turn when Peter and Carter get themselves kicked out of the club. Following this, Amanda's father demands that she stop seeing Chris. It isn't just outside influence manipulating the outcomes of Chris's endeavors, though. Sometimes, it's the counterpart. Take, for example, in season 4 when Chris meets Alyssa. Alyssa and Chris strike up a conversation, which quickly led to Alyssa recruiting Chris for her Young Republic club. As Chris was being manipulated by the club members, Brian was busy collecting signatures to overturn West's ban on gay marriage. When Chris revealed it was actually Brian, his dog, gathering the signatures. Alyssa then convinced Chris to burn the petition by offering the best reward she could think of, letting him touch her boob. And who can forget Mrs. Lockhart? Season 4 introduced the busty substitute, and Chris quickly fell head over heels for his new teacher. In an absolute classic line, Mrs. Lockhart asks,
"What do you see here, Chris?"
2 D's and an F.
Unfortunately, this marked the first time a love interest of Chris turned out to be both toxic and manipulative. After a parent-teacher conference confirmed Chris's infatuation, Mrs. Lockhart makes a bold move, visiting Chris's home in the dead of night to manipulate him to do what she wants. And what does she want? Nothing too big. She promises to run away with him, but only if he kills her husband. Chris obviously needs to refuse. In another classic scene shows that Mrs. Lockhart took a different route, enlisting the help of a bear instead. It's not all the common folk that Chris engages with, though. We have even seen him date a celebrity or two. The first time Chris has an interaction with a love interest, it is none other than supermodel Kate Moss. All the way back in season 2, after a piece of art Chris created for Peter ended up being purchased by an art dealer in New York City, becoming a centerpiece in the buzzing art scene, and being taken under the wing of the eccentric Antonio. While under Antonio's guidance, Chris goes through significant changes and even got paired up with Kate Moss. Although Kate initially seemed kind to Chris, she offered little support, not for a lack of wanting. She just keeps finding herself in bad positions like getting blown out of windows or slipping through cracks in the floor. That's supermodel diet, you know. This keeps her from spending meaningful time with him. A more detailed celebrity love interest took a much more central role to the episode, as she tends to everywhere she goes, but was also portrayed to be caring in her time with Chris, at least until it gets in the way of her work.
Can I finger you?
Sure.
Hi, I'm Taylor Swift. I'm famous, but I'm really nice.
Oh.
It all begins when Chris invites Taylor Swift to his high school dance. Amazingly, the two hit it off wonderfully, and Chris thought things were going great. He even started making her thoughtful gifts. But that's when he discovered the shocking truth. Taylor had written a song mocking him. When Chris confronted her, she admitted it was what her fans wanted. Songs about failed relationships were her ticket to success. Their brief romance continued until Chris realized just how much Taylor's fans despised hearing her sing happy songs. In a selfless move, Chris decided to break up with her so she could focus on saving her career. One final nod that I wanted to mention here is in season 11, and actually shows Chris with his future wife. We are introduced to Vanessa, Chris's harsh and overbearing wife. Chris walks into an elderly Peter and Lois while wearing a police uniform saying, "Sorry we're late." While Vanessa snaps, "Stop apologizing. It makes you sound like a woman." We see that she is constantly berating Chris. Vanessa is relentless, criticizing him for everything from apologizing to what she perceived as a lack of masculinity. Her demands didn't stop there. She insisted that Chris put his parents in a care home so she could take over their house, adding even more tension to their toxic dynamic. We just hope for Chris's sake that this isn't going to be the case, and he ends up with a caring wife that he deserves. That's it for today. I hope you enjoyed our 2-part trip through Chris Griffin's love life. Till the next one, please drop a like and subscribe for more content on your favorite animated shows. Please leave a comment telling me how I can improve. Till then, I have been Brent Caughman. Thanks for watching.